Jackets win big 8-4 over the Nashville Predators. We will talk about that, but for now, I kind of want to talk about maybe some drama, perhaps, that went on during the game. Provorov, specifically, near the end of the game, kind of got a hold of Forsberg, I would say. He punched him in the fucking face. On accident, but definitely punched him in the face. My complaint about that is, one, yes, Provorov punched him in the face, and two, the refs did not call a penalty on Provorov right away. They actually let the Jackets go down on a 2-on-1 and then didn't blow the whistle until Provorov was tackled by Ryan O'Reilly, and then decided after the play that Provorov got a holding penalty on Forsberg, which I didn't know you could do, and I don't think you actually can do. So that's a little weird, but it ended up being fine. They won 8-4, so who cares? What I do want to talk about is the Jackets' big names finally getting the points that they deserve. Oh my goodness. Mainly Kirill Marchenko with the big hat trick tonight, as well as an assist, so a big 4 points for him. Sean Monahan with 2 goals and 2 assists. Adam Fantilli with 2 goals and an assist. Kent Johnson with 3 assists on the night. That man, love Kent Johnson. Boone Jenner and Zach Werenski both get 2 assists. Dante Fabro gets a goal and an assist. And then Matejchuk continues that point streak and gets an assist tonight. They just looked really good. The only Blue Jacket that really didn't look good was Merzlikins, but he did what he had to do. There wasn't too much stress on him. They scored 8 as long as he kept it less than 8. Who cares? Someone who's probably going to get shit on is UC Saros, and he kind of deserves it, kind of doesn't. I've pinned a couple on him, but really the Jackets were just lighting up the Predators for most of the game. Either way, if Saros played good or not, they were going to lose. Saros even made some really good saves at the beginning of the game. This game could have been, honestly, as funny as it sounds, worse for the Predators, which is hilarious because they let in 8. But, yeah. What I do want to talk about, though, because he hasn't been talked about enough, is Dante Fabro. He is an RFA at the end of the year, and he has been fantastic for the Jackets since they picked him up off waivers. 53 points in 22 games with the Jackets this year, or 53 games played, 22 points for the Jackets this year, and a plus 21. Now, that is very good, but obviously what he's been known for this year is just letting Werenski, he's allowed Werenski to play the way he's playing, as well as putting up very good points and a very good plus-minus, which again, not the best stat, but a plus 21 is very telling, especially for a team like the Jackets who do have a -4 goal differential this year. So I do think that is telling that he does have a plus 21. He is on a $2.5 million contract right now, so I definitely would expect him to get a raise. I don't really know what that's going to look like. He's 26 years old. He's going to probably want a longer-term contract, but then again, maybe not with the salary cap going up. I'd at least expect at least $1 million boost. Probably more, probably at least 1.5, maybe even $2 million boost in terms of salary per year for at least a few years. I would say at least 4 years, maybe more for Fabro, taking him till he's 30. The only thing is that he probably won't be on that first pairing for long because of the Jackets' prospects in the system, so that contract might not age well. But then again, the salary cap is going up by so much it almost does not matter what that contract will end up being in the next few years. All I know is they need to get Fabro signed, and I will leave it at that for now. What I do want to talk about is, you love talking about the young dudes. The young Blue Jackets have been showing up recently, and they've been doing very well. Adam Fantilli with a great game, alongside Kent Johnson, both of them with huge games. Fantilli with 2 goals and an assist tonight. He has really pulled himself out of that rut that he was in. He's got 5 points in his last 4 games. He's now got 47 points on the season in 73 games. He's going to hit that 50-point mark. It sure looks like it, at least. And he's looked very good since the Jackets have started winning again. Ken Johnson never looks really bad. The worst he is, I didn't really see him much tonight. That's the worst Ken Johnson ever looks. 3 assists tonight. He didn't have a point in his last 3 games, but he's got 49 points in 59 games, so he is doing just fine for himself. The big man, though, tonight was obviously Kirill Marchenko. That man let the pucks fly, and he did it very well. He's got an absolute missile on him. We all know that. With this 4-point game and 3 goals, he has now pulled himself back to exactly 1 point a game. He has 70 games played, 31 goals, 39 assists, 70 points. Big game for Marchenko. I love when he lets the puck rip. It's my favorite thing. Probably to watch on the Blue Jackets is watch Kirill Marchenko and Adam Fantilli shoot. I love watching both of them shoot the puck. It's fantastic. But we also do need to talk about 2 other, unsung heroes in Jenner and Sean Monahan. I talk about Boone Jenner all the time, but man, he's just been so good that it's just hard not to talk about him. Another 2 assists tonight, bringing him to exactly a point a game. When was the last time you saw that? Boone Jenner at a point a game, 17 games played, 17 points, 5 goals, 12 assists. 5 goals is great considering that man literally could not score to start his season, which did start 50-something games into the year. And then he scored in 4 straight games and had 5 goals in 4 games. But he's actually on a bit of a point streak as well. I believe he's got points in his last 5 games. He does. Points in his last 5 games. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points in his last 5 games. Boone Jenner's been on an absolute tear, and I love him, so that's good. The next person, Sean Monahan. The talk at the beginning of the season was huge for him because he was doing really well. Then he got hurt. Talk kind of died down. But it's time to start that talk again because he's got 48 points in 45 games this year, and I don't think anyone really saw that coming. He's got, since he came back on March 24th, 2 assists, 1 assist, no points, and then 2 goals and 2 assists tonight. He has been so good, and people aren't talking about it, but he has been fantastic for the Jackets. The only thing I really want to see better is the goaltending. It still hasn't been great, even when we've started winning these games again. The goaltending hasn't, I don't think, been where we want it to be. Merzlikins was not good tonight, but again, I don't really think he didn't have to be, and I think he probably realized that. I don't think he was, I don't want to say he wasn't trying, because obviously he was, but I don't think he was probably as locked in because he really didn't need to be. So I will let this slide. I will let this 8:57 slide. What I will not let slide is that 8:38 that he had against Vancouver. That is atrocious. But, winning the games is what matters, and he did, in fact, win the games. But during this little 3 wins in 4 games, he's had a 909, an 838, and an 857, which is not very good. Daniil Tarasov did play in that loss, and he actually did all right. He did okay. He did probably well enough, in my opinion, for the Jackets to win. He had an 889, which isn't good, but it's usually good enough for the Jackets to win. I guess not every night, and you don't expect to win with an 889, but the Jackets have been dealing with that all year, and they've been able to win with it. Also, I do want to point out that Tarasov has pulled that save percentage significantly up. He was at an 860-something at the beginning of the year. Now he's at an 882, which is still very bad, but not nearly as bad as it was, and he's had to do some work to pull that out. His last 5 games, 941, 935, 914, 850. We don't talk about that Rangers game. And then 889. He's done some work to pull that save percentage up. And I'm happy for him, but I don't necessarily think that he should continue playing games over Jake Reeves. That's a discussion for a different time. What I do have a problem with, though, is the Montreal Canadiens' soft as baby shit schedule for the rest of the year. That kind of sucks. They play the Bruins, Flyers, Predators, Red Wings, Senators, Maple Leafs, Blackhawks, Hurricanes. I mean, the Jackets are really going to have to play well in their last few games, or the last 9 games, to hop the Canadiens. They do have that game in hand, but I don't know how helpful that game in hand is going to be, because the Canadian schedule is so easy and the Blue Jackets schedule remaining isn't I wouldn't say the worst, but it is significantly harder than what the Canadian schedule is. The Jackets play the Avalanche, Maple Leafs, Senators, Sabres, Capitals, Flyers, and then Islanders. So they play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games of their last 9 against a team currently in a playoff spot, while the Flyers play 1, 2, 3 of their last 8 games against a team in a playoff spot. And then they also play the Blackhawks, the Bruins, and the Predators. So those should be guaranteed wins, or I guess not guaranteed wins, but are a significantly worse opponent than them. And I would argue the Jackets only have one game against a team that is significantly worse than them, and that is the Sabres. So the Jackets are really going to have to do some work in their last 9 games to hop the Canadiens, which, if I'm being honest, I don't know if I see happening. But what I do see is this Jackets team that is now not great, but is good and competent, and that's what I want to see for the rest of these 9 games. I would love to see a playoff spot. I would absolutely love that, but I want to see good, competent games, in games that matter down this final stretch. I want them to be able to prove that they at least belong in the conversation for a playoff spot, and it's not just luck that they're here, and that it's something that they can continue into next season, if that makes any sense. If you were to ask me right now if they made the playoffs, I say no, but I do think they get very close. I don't think they make it, but I think they make a very good go of it, and I think it does probably come down to these last couple games, especially with how they played against the Avalanche and how they've played against the Maple Leafs this year. They did lose the Avalanche, but they played very well, and they've, for some reason, demolished the Maple Leafs both times this year. So we'll see. I don't want to give any too head-ass takes while I'm on a high that the Jackets have won a big game. But, so I guess if I'm being realistic, I will say that at the moment still, I don't think they make the playoffs. If they beat the Avalanche and the Maple Leafs, I may have a different tone. But for now, I'm going to stick with my answer, which is no, I don't think they make it, but I think they make a good run, and I think they are able to bring it into next season, and I think they do make the playoffs next year. That will be, I guess, my hot take for today. I think they make it next year, but I don't think they quite make it this year. If you disagree with me, let me know. But that is all I really have for today. I'm going to try and do a different style soon coming up. I'm going to get some people to talk to here and hopefully make these videos longer. But for now, that is all I got. You're going to have to deal with 14 minutes, which no one watches anyway. So not really too concerned about that. But for now, y'all are going to have to deal with 14 minutes. So goodbye.